Here are 10 incredible real stories of humans who lived with animals in the jungle. These aren't just legends, they're real-life accounts of people. Riadrer 1, Marina, Chapman, Colombia. Our first story begins in the jungles of Colombia. Marina Chapman, just 5 years old, was kidnapped and abandoned in the thick jungle. There she found refuge with a group of capuchin monkeys. Over the years they took her in, teaching her how to forage, communicate, and survive. She adapted to the wild, and when she was finally found, she had lived with the monkeys for over 5 years. 2. Mowgli-inspired child, India, wolves in the distance. Next we head to the forests of India, where a real-life story inspired the legend of Mowgli, the boy raised by wolves. In the Uttarakhand region, a young child was discovered living among wolves. This child, believed to have been abandoned, learned the ways of the wild, walking on all fours, communicating with growls, and hunting alongside his pack. 3. Oxana, Malaya, Ukraine. In Ukraine. Oxana, Malaya's tragic story echoes through time. Abandoned at just 3 years old, Oxana wandered into a dog kennel where she was raised by the dogs. For years, she walked on all fours, barked, and communicated with her canine family. When she was found at age 8, she had fully adopted their behavior. Her heartbreaking story reminds us of the powerful connection animals can form with those in need. But Victor of Aveyron, France. In France, in the late 1700s, Victor, known as the Wild Boy of Aveyron, was discovered wandering alone in the forest. He had lived without human interaction for most of his early life, surviving by the instincts of the wild. When found, Victor displayed no language, walking on all fours and avoiding human contact. His case baffled scientists and raised questions about human nature and the effects of isolation. John Ssebunya, Uganda. John Ssebunya was just a child when he wandered into the jungle after being abandoned. Lost and alone, John was taken in by a troop of vervet monkeys. For years he lived with them, learning to move like them, communicate in their way, and survive the jungle. When John was finally found, he was wild, displaying behaviors that mirrored those of the monkeys. Lobo, New Mexico, USA. In the Barra, New Mexico desert, a boy named Lobo is said to have been raised by wolves. While much of this story remains in the realm of folklore, it has been passed down through generations. The legend tells of a child abandoned in the harsh desert who was adopted by wolves and lived alongside them, learning their survival techniques. 7. Kamala and Amala, India. In the Indian forests of Midnapur, the shocking story of Kamala and Amala emerged. In 1920, these two girls were found living in a wolf's den, reportedly raised by wolves. They walked on all fours, communicated with growls, and lived off the land like their animal family. While some researchers doubt the authenticity of this story, it remains one of the most famous wild child tales in history. Their case highlights both the resilience and the mystery of humans' ability to adapt to the wild. Marina, the girl of the forest. Brazil. In Brazil, there's a story of a girl simply known as Marina, who was found living deep in the Amazon rainforest. At a young age, Marina was abandoned, and she survived by adapting to the jungle's way of life. She learned how to communicate with animals, primarily birds, and relied on the forest's resources for survival. Though her story isn't widely documented, it is one of the lesser-known examples of human beings thriving in the Amazon, connected to nature and its creatures. 9. Lucas, raised by baboons, South Africa. This story resumes 12 years later when a boy was discovered running on all fours with a troop of baboons. The incident is related by F.C. Metrowich in his book Assegai Over the Hills. Two policemen, Holson and Murray, were on patrol duty in the Kunap district. They saw a troop of baboons running in the roadway and found a naked boy with them, jumping around on all fours, uttering queer, guttural sounds. 10. The wild child Natasha Mikhailova. Natasha Mikhailova was 5 when she was discovered living in a locked apartment in Siberia in 2009, with only cats and dogs. Believed to abandoned by her father and grandparents, the little girl could only communicate in barks and ate with her tongue. These stories, some confirmed, others shrouded in mystery, reveal the raw power of the wild and the extraordinary adaptability of the human spirit. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.